on this one, but let's start gathering some information. And then just check the code. Okay, that's good to know. My husband was looking at us at the local on this, if he's got better, and so we might have seen the internal. So, okay. Very good.
Might say that.
So that was what we got to. Okay. There's places to go.
Madam Chairman.
Thank you so much.
Is it time to go? Oh, we got a minute.
Come on, sorry.
Far down. Just I love the thing that you have acres.
Are we ready? Everybody ready?
Does everyone have their mics on?
You guys all turn your mics on.
Mic check.
Mic check. Yo, yo. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Planning Commission meeting for South Weber City on Thursday, July 9th, 2026, starting at 6 p.m. First thing we're going to start with is the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner McFadden.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. And then first thing with the meeting, I'm going to go ahead and just open up our public comment period. And we ask that you please be respectful to the following guidelines. Each individual can speak for anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes, or speak once for up to 3 minutes or less. Please do not make comments from the audience. And if you wouldn't mind stating your name and your city of residence, and please direct your comments to the entire commission, knowing that we will not respond to any questions that are asked. The time is now yours for any public comments that you would like to make. I feel like we need Jeopardy music.
Yeah.
Hey, and seeing as there's no public comments, we're going to go ahead and close that section of the agenda and move straight on into the consent agenda. We have the June 11th, 2026 minutes. Are there any comments or remarks from the commission? No. I had two, and one of them was just part of our discussion was based on that handout that you gave us, Lance, that was never included in the packet. And I didn't see that being added as an amendment to the packet. Is there a way, just because a lot of our conversation was referencing the numbered items on that original list, I just would really like to see that added to the meeting minutes as an agenda amendment. Is that okay? Perfect. And the only other thing is I know in the agenda, it's referencing the road to Layton, and part of the conversation was trying to call it something else. Just trying not to.
North-south access.
North-south actions, South Weber connectivity, inner city connectivity. I don't know what we need to call it. I don't like seeing road to Layton
Well,
in the
I mean,
notes.
I guess I would just say. The minutes are a reflection of what we talked about.
True.
And we talked about what.
Renaming it. Okay.
So I mean, I don't think it's not editing it to what we want, you know what I'm saying?
As long as I guess that was clearly referenced, that it's not a Layton connection. It is a South Weber, north-south, but I also think it was east-west was discussed as well.
Mhm.
So that was it. Those were my only remarks. Otherwise, I think everything else was fine. And nothing else?
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then I asked for a motion on that agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda from June 11th, 2026, minutes as presented.
No, can you do it with the things that I requested?
You want both? Wait, I don't know that last
Do the
one.
first one.
With adding the amendment for the action items or the items for the general amendment, general plan amendments.
doing it as an addendum.
as an addendum.
Is that clear?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is we have a CUP for an external accessory dwelling unit, which is EADU, on 0.413 acres at 1974 East, 7775 South. Property is currently zoned residential low, and it does allow for an external accessory dwelling unit, per the land use matrix. And the proposal is for 1,062 square foot residential building that will be used as an accessory dwelling unit. And Lance, do you want to kind of talk about that one first?
Yes, it's pretty straightforward. We have to have a site plan. They just want to add this unit in the back. The architecture matches, it meets the lot meets the requirements, coming through all those elements for the internal accessory dwelling unit. And it meets everything. I do have a condition of approval that I'd like to request that they need to provide one more parking space. It could either be to the side of the house or put a driveway in that. So cannot be in the front setback of the structure. We can't count the front 25 feet as a parking space. So it has to be outside of that.
You answered my one question.
Is one more parking space sufficient if it's a 2-bed?
That's what's required by code.
Okay, that's all that's
Single
required.
family homes are required to have 2. Would be the 2 in the garage.
And then the 2.
Any accessory dwelling unit requires an additional.
The only other
Oh.
thing that would be when they get the permit and stuff is that our code says that it has to be cement or asphalt or a hard surface.
The driveway,
Yeah. Yep, not like a dirt road or gravel or anything like that.
but the walkway to the house,
I didn't see anything on that, but specifically on
just checking.
Does it say what the driveway has to be?
it says hard surface cement or asphalt.
Cement or asphalt? Okay.
There wasn't an existing building, right? It's just a new
Correct.
start.
The big backyard.
Very big backyard. Looking at the surrounding area, it looks like some of the neighbors have some pretty large sheds that are about the same approximate size. I like that this one is actually set more interior to the yard, so at least it's not right directly abutting the property line. So there gives some of that easement space. So I appreciate that.
Can I clarify something? Just at
Please.
point of education, information, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
Anyway, South Weaver City Code, and I point this out because it's quite low. A detached structure can be 1 foot from the property line. Should they stay out of any easements that they would incur on most lots? Yes, they should.
Mhm.
We require 1 foot. So that's what you're seeing when you see those, that's what our code allows.
Yep.
It's very unique to South Weaver.
I think me and my neighbor actually share the same foot between our 2 sheds. Yeah. Right, 6 inches, 6 inches. That's how it goes. And it's been that way for 30 years, so I don't think it's changing. Is the applicant here? No? Did they know the meeting was happening tonight?
They sure did.
Isn't that interesting?
So at this point, are we into the discussion phase?
Yes. Ask your questions, bring your
Okay,
comments.
I really don't have much.
Okay,
I mean, this feels like an appropriate use of this code for an AEDU. And I'm very grateful for the city staff in digesting the requirements and compliance to it. I guess the only thing that I just want clarification on is, does this extra parking stall need to be highlighted and mentioned in this approval? Or is that in a following step? Because this is just a conditional use permit for the building.
Correct. You add, I guess, the practice in Utah is that you would add the condition just so it doesn't get missed.
Okay.
But technically, it's a code requirement, and we wouldn't issue a building permit for this without them showing a new site plan that says this is where
Where they're designating the parking space to actually go in.
But it's kind of an abundance of communication and letting everybody know.
Yeah, because it's not
on the
spelled
current
out.
site- It's not on the current site plan. So
Yeah.
the current site plan has to change.
It does say on the agenda, yeah, though, that you did mention it, or whoever on it mentioned. They need to add one and it's not on this current site plan, so. I would assume the city council will see that.
You guys are the final approval on this.
Yeah, this is us. It doesn't go to city council.
Okay.
But I think for public,
Awareness.
yeah, to be able to see that it was on there, so.
Can you continue a conditional use permit until those changes are made and we can review it, or no?
Well, I mean, you could.
It's a procedural. That's what I'm asking for
But that's a very minor thing. I don't,
to do.
yeah, to make them wait another month so they can start the structure.
Sure.
I think we
That's a-
could
that's a very
accomplish the
simple,
same
straightforward-
thing today.
With
By
what
just,
city.
I think we can accomplish the same thing today by just stipulating
Here's where
that
it
this
needs
is
to go.
approval pending,
These
uh,
conditions.
yeah, these conditions.
I have a question, and you've obviously met with the applicant and the owner and everything. Have they specified why they're
Yeah.
wanting this external accessory dwelling unit? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll send the
Okay.
code. Lisa.
My question, is
Yeah.
it for extended family or is it to be used as a rental? Is what I'm trying to understand.
Might be in their narrative. I don't think they've said.
Well, and part of the reason, and you just pointed that out and I didn't realize it, the project name is, and I apologize if I butcher this, Quararte South Weaver Tire and Service Center.
That's a staff report typo. I
Okay,
throw one of those in every time.
just to see if we're reading it.
Well, I had no idea that was a typo. I just thought it was some
Gonna
sort
be
of,
Quick lube.
yeah, some sort of entity.
Maybe it's not tire and service back there.
What's
Hey, you know
what's
we're
supposed to
paying
be there?
attention.
Yeah,
Okay,
So it is not a tire and service center.
thank you. For the record, I appreciate that.
okay.
Please get that. in minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. And I guess, but does my bringing that up, like if it's family member that this is intended for, or somebody that's gonna be a more long-term type living
I get,
residence versus rentals where you might have turnover, you might have, I don't know. Is that something we need to consider?
No,
I don't think it's something you can consider.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not in the
We're
code.
land
You
use-
Shouldn't be looking at that.
That's
Yeah,
not even
that-
on our purview.
That's
No.
not your purview. It's not. you
Not at
don't
all.
get to-
Then
we-
strike all that from the
We
conversation.
do get into
Or-
that, into a lot of conversations that go into the, well, we're just curious. We'd like to know what's going
Yeah, I was
on.
gonna just
Mhm.
say.
But really, we shouldn't even, we're not basing any decisions on
Okay,
who's living
use
there and all
or anything like that.
yep, this is
It gets
purely,
gray
yeah,
fast.
conditional
Okay.
use permit for the land use.
Follow the code.
Yep, that's right.
All right, well, with that, any other questions, comments, input?
No, and I would change on this project information, it says general plan use classification is commercial highway. I'd maybe change that too. I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, that stays residential low, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So does anybody want to take this one on?
Read that full.
I will.
But again,
It's not going to council. You're either approving, continuing, or denying.
Well, oh, this
With
one
the
says
conditions.
I moved to.
Yeah, I'd move to recommend to the city council.
Nope,
But, so that's,
sorry,
that's wrong, yeah. I move
Just recommend to
Move to
approve.
approve the conditional use permit for an external accessory dwelling unit on a 0.413 acre property located at 1974 East, 7775 South. The property is zoned RL residential low, and external accessory dwelling units are permitted through the conditional use permit process under the city's land use matrix. This proposal consists of constructing a 1,062 square foot accessory dwelling unit. And I do this with the condition that a hard surface parking driveway, hard surface driveway is added.
And the one more parking space.
That's right.
Well,
That's the condition.
for one more parking space.
Do we like that verbiage? Michelle, do you want to maybe read that back just so we can all hear it?
The last one.
With the condition that a hard surface cement or asphalt parking space be installed to the side or rear of the primary building.
Nailed it.
Okay.
And who seconded that?
Is anyone seconding?
A second.
And then roll call vote, starting with Commissioner McFadden.
Yes.
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 And I'm a yes. Even though they're not here. Okay. Moving on. Do you need time to write anything? You good, Michelle? Okay. Discussion items. Looks like we've got some general plan discussion happening tonight. So I will turn that over to Lance.
So I think we're continuing on and we had the work session, the joint work session. And we want to look at a few amendments. We talked and got a little more in depth on some of these. I've tried to summarize them here and kind of cut down to the nitty gritty. Here's what I think I'm hearing from you all and make sure we get it all.
Could we scroll these screens up to the bullet points?
Are these in the packet?
Oh, no. What's that?
Okay.
Not that one.
So we've
Yeah,
got
not
those
this.
issues. And then
Oh.
I had a phone call with Marty and brought up that maybe everybody doesn't understand, and I think it's a very common thing that people, the process for a general plan amendment, it is not, it's an open process. It's very, it's meant to be an open discussion and get lots of public input. And I know that based on other people have said Gary's leaving and things like that, that the last time that the city did a general plan amendment or general plan, it was kind of contentious and harsh, and we don't need to be that way. We want to, and I don't think anybody really is. I just think we've got whatever. But so this is just meant to be a general overview of the process so that we can, everybody can see that, hey, we're going to walk through this. I'll get a chance to look at it here, and here. And so this is very high level. It's not in depth, but for amendments, would be good. I actually had a scope written up for a whole general plan amendment, but obviously we're just doing amendments. So I think we can shorten it and just get to these. So we had the work session to get the direction. You guys had a meeting last month. You'll have a meeting this month to further refine those amendments. My hope is tonight that we pick a couple for me to work on, come back with a draft, and you guys can pick it apart at the next meeting and then make a recommendation to go forward. I threw in an open house for the community to look at draft amendments. That open house might be a bit much for an amendment, but depending on what the amendment is, a north-south road down the road to Lake, would be, maybe we do want to have an open house for that amendment. And that's the opportunity there would be to give people more chance. It's a public hearing or a public meeting, very hard to have a good dialogue and discuss things. And so it would just be, here's the information, staff's here, planning commissioners are here. Let's talk about it. Let's answer everybody's questions. And at least most of the general plan amendments processes that I've worked on over the years, we also have written comments. So there's however you want to communicate to us, you can. And then the outcome of that would be, staff would write up a summary of, here's what we heard. Here were the top 10 concerns. We also heard these other things, and it's reflected back and at least explained. Now, not everybody's going to agree, of course, but it's an open process and it's a back and forth. So you at least understand why the options are being looked at the way they are, who knows whatever the issue is, maybe it didn't move forward, but at least you'd have that discussion. And so I think that that's a good step that we need to have in this, depending on the amendment that And then it would just go to a public hearing, which is advertised, it's on the web.
Public comment again.
And so that would be a public hearing to amend the general plan. You guys, of course, would deliberate that and then make a recommendation to the city council, who makes the final determination. I just drafted this really quick to kind of give everybody an idea of the process, lots of opportunity. Does that kind of hit what we were talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, spot on.
Okay, good.
For the open house, do we have kind of, I know obviously right now we're still in like the planning commission discussion and development of the draft amendments. Do we have kind of an idea of when we're thinking that timing? Like
It would-
month, is it really just dependent upon
It depends on
how
how
the
we
meetings?
go and.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not under any time frame pressure to like, if this isn't done by this date, then we're in trouble with anybody like state-wise.
The
Okay.
current general plan meets state code.
Okay.
I'm double checking that, I'll checklist to go through, but.
Okay.
I'm quite confident that the size of the city we are, the things that we're doing, we did do the updates for moderate income housing and things like that. So, hopefully we've hit all those things. I believe we have. But we'll double check and go through it and make sure, if we need to do it. So, and then we have all these items. Let me just at a higher level. Grant, well, I guess staff is going to look at just the maps in general and do a general update on them, and then bring those back to you guys, and so you can look at it and say, yeah, that's, is everything we want to represent here on here. And we have the 5 general plan maps, the projected land use, transportation, active transportation, sensitive lands, annexation. So, thank you. So I think that's, I think staff can take a stab at that first. I'll say it this way. Are you okay if staff takes a shot at that, throws it in there, does what we think based on just kind of update those things? It's not going to be big policy shifts or changes. It's going to be just adding more detail and refining it, and then bringing it back to you guys.
I don't have any problem with that, does anyone else?
I'm in favor of that.
Especially because I think you're gonna have the most accurate information in terms of getting those maps updated with Brandon to be reflective of what's happened in the last 5 years since we've done one of these updates. So yeah, go forth and do. Brandon's like, yay.
You won't have darts.
That's good.
Hopefully it should go pretty easy.
Famous last.
Yes.
So what I want you to know, my plan is to just show side by side, like, well, this is what it was, this is what it is now. Kind of zoomed in areas, anything that I perceive to be controversial kind of thing, then I would just say, this is up to you, just.
What would you like to see here? And I actually do, I appreciate that. I think it's going to be good to show this is what we had. This is what the new map is kind of showing. And also, you now get to decide and weigh in. Give us your opinion, especially for those open houses. I know one of the things I remembered from the last time we went through this, when it really was a big process, was that open house meeting where we had the maps. And you could literally go and you could talk to city council members, you could talk to you could talk to the planning commission, and you could just engage in a conversation. And I felt like that was very helpful because a lot of people, their questions were just misinformation and not fully understanding things. And by having that dialogue, it cleared up so much of what they were maybe coming in frustrated with, to be like, oh, that's actually not so bad. Like, you actually have addressed my concern. So I'm good with that.
100%. Absolutely.
A follow-up question. Sometimes it's not very helpful if there's just well, we need to do something here. What do you want to do? I'm okay as long as you tell me to do this, to list maybe a couple of different options of things that may be something to entertain,
Brilliant.
so that then that would foster like, I like this, I don't like that, or you can say I don't like either of them, that's fine.
I actually like that better just because you can't give them a blank space because they're not going to know what code permits. They're not going to know what matrix. They're not going to know and understand to that level that you do. So if you give them an option and say, here's some things that we know are permitted, that we know we're not going to get in trouble with anybody for potentially proposing. So I think it's a
Right.
great idea.
I just don't want it to be perceived that I'm driving any kind of agenda.
There's no agenda. There's you just giving options. And everybody can come up and say, I hate every single one of them. Give us
That's
something else.
fine.
What would you like to see here? So
Sure.
I think that could be the nothing or none of the above can be the other option. I don't like any of those, none of the above.
All right, we'll work on it.
Yeah, we could have somebody comes in and says, all undeveloped space needs to be a public park. And you're like, okay,
Yeah, that's me.
your taxes are gonna go up.
And you're gonna pay the watering bill to keep it green and usable and not
Yeah,
burn
right.
it up and, fire space.
And it's like, well, this is and I guess I make that point to maybe possibly add costs and benefits to each of those options. So it makes sense to people. Cause I mean, like I said, like my kids would eat cotton candy for dinner every night.
Sure.
If you gave them the choice.
Yeah.
give them the choice.
That's a really good point, but we might be a little preliminary.
Am I asking too much right now?
Well, it would be best to probably hone in on what the critical issues are, and then you can decide, well, do we really, I mean, is this enough of an issue that we need to really do a deeper dive into and analyze what we should do here?
Yeah.
Versus me trying to maybe guess what those things would be when
Well,
it may not be an issue for anyone.
If I could maybe simplify I guess where we're at, like way up here and kind of bring it down, like essentially it's like, do we want to bring business into the city or not? Like that's really the crux of all of the general plan appendages.
Or do we just want to be the bedroom community that we are,
Yeah.
knowing that in order to pay for and maintain our city, it's going to be taxes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an increase. And I think that's where your pros and
Right.
your cons comes in. And I obviously I'm not trying to get into one specific area and like dial in on that conversation. But in terms of your options, we've got a lot of land. I'm not going to reference it, but what would be viable here? What is an option that would bring in tax benefits, hotels, liquor stores, like the things that actually are going to generate revenue that really means something to the city?
Yeah, and I think those kinds of discussions are probably more for you guys to talk through.
Yes.
All I'm going to bring, like on, let's say for example, on the projected land use map, I don't like on that one in particular.
Yeah.
We just would update that. There's nothing like there's no areas where what's currently there needs to have some additional decisions made. It just is more of a, do you want to change any of this
Yes.
kind of a
Or
conversation?
prevent something. We know we don't want this. So
Right. But you guys have to drive
Yeah.
where you feel like those issues are.
Okay.
But I'm thinking a lot of what I may be talking about is more like transportation, because a alignment of a
connections.
particular thing and how things connect. Of course, this is the general plan, so it's not like it goes exactly there, but you are showing that we want this to connect to here.
Where does this make sense? And where does this provide the most benefit for, again, our citizens to get through and navigate our city?
Right. So that's where I have probably some suggestions of some things that you can just look at and say, yeah, we like it or we don't. And then,
Perfect.
but it probably will be mostly the transportation map, because I think all the others are things, it's like, well, nothing's really broken unless you think it's broken and you want to fix some areas, like on the sensitive lands map. Or do you want to show other things on there, or do you like it being a little more generic and allowing for, you know, whatever studies are determined to be necessary in that specific area rather than dialing it into a specific one? But those are like kind of a policy, or, you know, how do you want to see it?
More of a
Kinds of
guideline.
discussions where I don't, what we currently have, in my opinion, is already really good. So
It's
I'm not
decent,
going to make any suggestions there.
which is fair.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna know where the suggestions are gonna be beneficial and where they're not, so.
Right. So things that just don't change, I'm not showing
No change
anything,
needed.
right? If parcel information updates, I'm not going to show that, because that's just, it's already that way.
Mhm.
I'm only going to show things that are like potential changes to what's already on the current
place.
plan because something has happened. You know,
Like all of the developments that have been approved that have had
Right.
rezones on
They're
them
now
that
here.
are now here
right.
with this current zoning, I think that's helpful.
Yes. So if that all makes sense, that would be
Yeah.
what we'll work on.
I approve that. You guys? any other questions?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. Okay, Lance, anything else on this you want to talk about?
So we just go through one by one, or what do you want to do?
That's what I would
Okay.
recommend is
Yeah. Okay.
let's just kind of walk down this list and maybe prioritize and narrow it down to one or two for next meeting to get in
Mhm.
for me to present a draft.
Yeah, like for example, for one, I think for sure I would like the clouds, you know.
Well, and I think that's number.
That's number one.
That's what Brandon's.
That's what I'm saying, perfect, yeah, that's an easy one, I think that's, yes, we want done, just do a comparison, here it was a cloud, and then I'm now here it's a residential moderate, you
It's
know.
this zone
Yeah,
is what we're recommending.
yeah,
Is the, sorry, real quick, is the 2020 annexation map, is that the most current?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
we good with one?
I'm
Does
good
that
with one.
make sense?
Yeah, I would say annexation, the South Bench, Evergreen, Barlow properties. Does South Weaver want to expand? What land uses and controls would the city need to put in place? Do we need studies in terms of city utility cost, viability, and land uses?
So my question on that more is, one, you know, what is the benefit to us to get that? Is there any one? But on the flip side, does it benefit us to get it before Layton does? Like for the north-south road, or, you know, like, I don't know if we want to control that or not. But what, could we ever do anything with it? So that's just like this, I don't know, if, you know,
So
balance game.
I have some comments about
Yeah.
that. So just broaching the subject a little, not prematurely, but kind of diving into three a little bit. The road, you know, some of the options of this potential access, north-south access, is to just put in a number one, a regular road that has free access, or possibly a toll road. Now, a toll road cannot be managed by a city without the express permission and authority from UDOT.
Mhm.
And in the example of Adams Toll Road, they operate under the auspices of the UDOT. The UDOT has given them permission to do that. But a private company could also manage a road. And so tying that into this conversation about the annexation of that property, a viable access point that does not, you know, disturb, you know, huge components of residential area would potentially go through that area. And that if we do annex it, that could open the door to potentially, you know, finding some sort of cross access agreement that allows for them to facilitate a road or toll road in either case. So yes, the answer is yes. There is some benefits there. Now, granted, I mean, annexation is a costly endeavor, and what are the cost benefits to that? I guess a follow-up question to the staff is is there bandwidth with the city staff to do some market research to find out kind of possible pros and cons of that annexation process?
Yeah, so after I've reached out to the Davis County Economic Development and the Northern Utah Economic Development Association, NEUA, whatever it is. Yeah, and we haven't got a meeting set yet, but they're working on a date. They're experts in the field. They know the market, they know the demands. And so we're gonna have exactly that conversation, try and get the experts' opinions on what can South Beaver do to do that generation. What's the viability of the annexation area? What's the pros and cons to doing exactly that? So
Have there been conversations with the Evergreen Barlow properties to see if they even have any interest in being annexed into
they do
South
have an
Beaver?
interest there.
They do.
Probably can submit something at some point. Of course, they said that a year ago too, so. But it's, I talked about a SWOT analysis. That's a threat or an opportunity hanging out there for us.
Depending upon.
Depending on
Yes,
what
that's what
we
yeah.
want to do. And, cost the benefits, the pros, cons. At least we control it and we get something out of it maybe. If we don't, and they have to connect otherwise.
Well, and I want to be really careful about not having the annexation conversation also become the transportation connection, because I kind of feel like that always tends to focus on one area that we already have so much information and data and reports on that it's not viable. But are there maybe other opportunities and connection points that would still make it viable? And I guess that's kind of part of on number 3, what I would like to explore is, instead of focusing where previous discussions have been, are there other areas less steep, less polluted, less controversial, less established neighborhoods that could become a viable connection to other cities, surrounding cities? I won't even just say Layton, I'll say surrounding cities. So.
Yeah, I think that when you reach out to those people, those will be the key on this. They're the experts to understand all of that.
And that's what Department?
Davis.
Davis County Economic Development and Northern Utah Economic Alliance.
Okay.
Well, that will be key.
It's going to be an important one.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other conversations about annexation? We like that one as
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
I
kind
mean,
of
think
presented.
it's more, yeah.
like
I think that one will be important though
Yeah.
for this general plan, in my eyes.
yeah, that data, that's good. Like, I think that the city would expect us to be reviewing those points of data to make the decision, not just vibes. And so I'm excited about that.
Perfect. All right, number 3, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Is there anything, I think, in terms of the review, update the transportation maps? Staff review present, Brennan's going to do that. The S-curve 475. Obviously, I think the only thing I would add to that is just making sure that any roads in approved developments that have also been approved are represented on the maps, just because there's new connection points. So that's my only add.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. Oh, and just change that B to just be intercity connections. What do we feel about that?
That's good.
Yeah, north-south.
North-south connections, transportation connections, like just,
Access, yeah. So
I know people
Okay,
see
but
that
we
and they
need
see
to
red.
solidify it.
What do we
so
want
that
it?
don't-
What do we want to call it? Let's name it right now. North-south connections,
Or do you want to go more general, like you said, transportation?
transportation connections.
yeah,
I like
And that-
transportation
yeah,
connections.
Sends a message of, it's all open. Let's
It's
talk.
all open anywhere, any kind of helping you navigate the city, transportation connections.
that's a good general term.
All in favor, say yes.
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 That was an unofficial. Okay, can you scroll so we can see the next little
My
topics?
screen doesn't work.
Well, you're not in charge.
So right on the cusp there is Central Park Future Downtown. The downtown core area that we discussed by the fire station, doing a master plan for that. I mean, we kind of said that we like the idea of it, I think.
Is it even possible at this point? 'Cause I know the land is getting kind of bought up all around there. Like, is it even an option? I guess we're gonna look at higher level without tearing down houses and going crazy.
Well,
or-
I would like to know what the area is,
Yeah,
because
I
it
guess that's a
says
better idea.
Central Park and then, you know, future downtown. And it says, what is the vision for the area? What area are we talking about? I would like that maybe defined. Because then I think you can kind of go into what are the needs that can be met? What are the options? How do we master plan? What do we really want that area to look like? If we actually know what section of the city we're actually talking about for this item.
Are you wanting, who do you want to clarify that? Because I feel like, based on discussions I've been in, it's basically the area between 1250 East, 1375 East, Lester Drive to South Weaver Drive.
I think you just clarified it.
Yeah,
That-
basically.
That whole block area. That doesn't mean you would do like that whole block. It just means that's the
This is
general
the
area.
target area that we're kind of
Yes,
considering.
It's Central Park, the fire station area.
Well, and essentially, how I see that tying into this general plan discussion.
Yeah.
Is that we can recommend
1250,
saying this area, we're gonna change the zoning of this area to be a central business district area. Central business district area being defined such as with these provisions. So that when those people with those pieces of land are looking at either developing their own land or selling it to somebody else, they have now some direction on what could be built there to make it basically implement that downtown city vision.
Like to purchase.
Does that make sense?
I was gonna say almost exactly that. We're setting out a vision and establishing those parameters. So as the property develops, we can get it pointed in the direction we want it to go.
Yeah.
So that we don't have something else going there that is, you know, once the building goes in, that's 50 years at least.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Sorry, we're just looking at the area and trying to.
No. Yeah.
You said 1250, right? 1250 to 1375? Is that what you said?
Correct.
Okay. I think that's the area. That's perfect. Yeah.
And at least now it's defined and people know when we're talking about the area, what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Instead of just, is there another place?
Well, and just to, I don't know, maybe this
Qualify
is
it.
too much, but so what the amendment would be, we're looking at this area and these uses. And I put together some, you know, here's some commercial viability, here's what staff sees as pros and cons, issues, you know, and outline that. And then we come and discuss it with you guys.
Mhm.
And then we refine it, and then we take it to the public and say, how
What
are
do
we
you
doing
think?
here?
And also, what's future land use designation? Does it align with what we're now talking about in terms of doing a downtown city center type area? So, okay.
There'd probably be an amendment there.
Perfect.
And on a specific one like this, where you're getting kind of into the actual parcel lines,
Mhm.
traditionally, well, we would do a meeting with the property owners. So
Okay.
they can discuss their concerns. We want to reach out to people directly affected. Everybody has an opinion, but when it's actually your land, it's a little more personal.
Oh, yeah.
And we would get them in the room.
Well, and I think their opinion weighs most because they're the ones most impacted. Yes, the city's all gonna benefit from something like this, but let's not make it at a negative or a detriment to the people that are there every day. So, okay. Anything else on number 4 that you guys see, want added, think should be taken off? I think it's pretty good.
Mhm.
So number 5 is sensitive lands map, updating the area and criteria. My biggest thing on this one is just clarifying what the development standards in these areas are supposed to be, because I feel like it's so vague that when we've had developments come in that have fallen within the sensitive land use, we've not really had the direction and known the courses of actions that we can take in terms of specifying mitigation for sensitive lands.
You want me to respond to that? So
You got
there's
something
a
to say?
section of the code that is for sensitive lands.
Mhm.
The map is just simply to say, are you in or are you out? That's the way it's currently used. And if you're in, then it's up to geologists and geotechnical engineers
Mhm.
to specify what the hazards are present on that ground and what their recommended mitigation measures are.
Mhm.
And that's what we go off of. Do you feel like that is insufficient?
So essentially, they're the ones that go in during a developer's due diligence that says this needs phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, 2, and 3 remediation or whatever. And
Yeah.
that comes as part of the report.
If necessary, the first report that usually comes back, if there's a need for more, just will identify if historically there's been, a landslide in this area or evidence of historic landslides or things like that date back to, 10,000 years ago or whatever. It gets really, really ancient in those reports.
Well, I've read some.
So then, but if there is something that is more recent, that is a concern, like we rely on their professional stamp to represent they're doing their job versus us saying, well, we think there's this hazard there or whatever. And we certainly could raise a concern if we don't feel like they have addressed it sufficiently. But for the most part, we rely on their professional expertise.
And I know I had a reason for wanting those development standards clarified, and I apologize at the moment. I can't remember the exact reasons for
That's okay.
it. But I kind of feel like in the times like when we've gotten those reports, obviously it's paid for by the applicant. We don't really have the insight. And even when they say, well, we're going to do this.
Well, in the code, it allows for the city to hire a third-party reviewer.
Third party.
But
it's at our expense, correct?
No, it's at the developer's expense.
At the developer's
but
expense.
They work for us.
Okay.
We essentially, we pay the developer and then, we pay the
Third party.
the third-party reviewer, and then the developer reimburses the city for that expense.
Okay.
And who makes these maps or who decides where the map is? Is that the
What,
geologist?
figures out?
Yes, if you're in or out of this
We do.
zone.
We did.
This
Yeah,
did.
Okay.
it's a very broad brush approach. It's
Okay.
just where there's steep slopes, where historically does it show that there's been, like some wetlands or other ground that seems like might be questionable, and then it's just included.
Because it could be costly for the homeowner or someone to develop in those maps, correct?
It can be if there are things that are identified that need to be mitigated.
Okay, so not necessarily your map means you have to mitigate it, it just means you need to look into it. Okay.
It just means that they now have to follow this section of code instead of this section of code.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm trying to remember. I think this is one of the things that Joel brought up, and I'm curious if he had something specific.
Well,
About this.
we've got plenty of time, so if there's more to
I'd
be
say keep
discussed.
it on for now and maybe add into that there just needs to be some discussion, because I feel like there was a couple council members that also were like, yeah, we want this on there. And I'm not recalling
Yep.
their
So
exact-
I can tell you what I remember
Mhm.
is that I've seen a number of emails that we've been copied on
Mhm.
where family members are like, how can you sell this property and develop this property that is part of the Superfund, cleanup?
pollution sites.
Yeah. And I have not been able, I don't have the time or effort to go validate any of the claims that are being made.
Yeah.
But, to a point, I am concerned about potentially there being development on,
Polluted ground.
polluted ground.
And what would be our asks? Because all we can do is ask. We can't, expect anything. But what would our list and I guess standards be for if you're developing in an area that it might be sensitive lands, but it might also be this? How do we, yeah,
Well, cities are responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of the community, including those who are to come.
Mhm.
And so if there are things that potentially threaten that, like there has to be some kind of mitigation done to rectify that. However, if it's simply a claim, but can't be really substantiated,
fair.
that's when it gets a little gray, because now what can you require if reports don't show that there is a substantiated issue there? So then, I mean,
When a lot of it goes back to what I deal with every day, it's you can disclose,
Disclosures.
and then it's on the other party to then confirm, validate, deny, you know what I'm saying, to basically do your due diligence.
right.
But
I mean, we've been
let's-
operating though for a lot of years, trying to do I say we, but staff, council, planning commission members, historically, I feel has done their very best job to make good decisions for the health, safety, and welfare of future developments. And some would not agree with that comment, but I feel
That's their opinion.
that they've done the best that they could with the information that they have. Moving forward in that same way, I don't think is necessarily a problem.
I would agree with what you explained. I think we're fine. I mean, the only thing we would do is just confirm that those areas are still accurate, or if they need to be expanded or shrunk,
Right.
okay. Are we good on sensitive lands?
Thanks. Jump in. Just because this is a good opportunity to say, this is an example of, we were going to look at the sensitive lands map at the general plan level
Mm-hmm.
and see if it's accurate. If we want to get into the code,
Different
that's
conversation.
That's a different
process,
conversation.
and that's a different conversation. And if that's what we need to change, fine. But
that's the.
so the conversations we're
Well,
talking about, the
maybe
general
that should
plan
just be
amendments
up to
are
the
that
area.
higher,
And
broader
criteria,
discussion,
get rid of that.
not getting into the nitty gritty.
Should that be then maybe updating number 5 to just say update the area and criteria and getting rid of the clarify the development standards in these areas and having that be part of a separate, not general plan
Good job.
focused
I agree with
discussion?
Yeah, I think it's worth
Yeah.
a look at it, and that's it.
And that would be where probably I'd be looking to you to see if you feel like where you think it needs to be changed, because
Mhm.
the general topography of the ground and what's existed there for a long time, I don't think has really changed since 2020. So if you think that something was missed in 2020 or should be included now or excluded, I would just wait for direction from you.
I like that.
Perfect. We good on that one? Move on to number 6. 2100 East South Weaver Drive. This is the large parcel that goes up the hill. Actually, it doesn't go up the hill. West of the storage units, east of the apartments, and then south of residential that's up along the bluff, not bluff. North of, yes, thank you. North, not south, backwards. And
Should be south.
south of Pitts on the east end, or on the south end.
Somewhere over there.
You guys know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
same
Okay.
between the departments.
Can I ask, what is Plume? What's that acronym for?
Projected land use.
Oh, thank you. That makes sense. What is the best use for the property, balancing community needs, market viability, and property owner desires? I think this is probably more what would you like to see here kind of a thing. That's obviously it's commercial highway. In that zone, we have a long list of things that are actually permitted. And so if a developer comes in and says, I want to build this, and it is a permitted use, we as the commission don't really have a lot of say in saying no, because it's a permitted use. So do we need to maybe look at that commercial highway zone to say, is there something in here we don't want? Is there something the citizens don't want to see in South Weaver? Like, that's our opportunity to maybe do that. Because I think this is one of our,
Isn't this our designated area for like I don't know what they call that? could be like a marijuana plant or something. Don't we have like a designated area, the pink
No.
area?
No,
This is it.
no,
That's
Not that
back
area.
behind the.
That's hidden over there.
yeah, this is
Okay.
right here.
Yeah, that's behind the map.
So apartments, that's right here.
Okay.
The area you're talking about is right here.
Okay.
That's your pink area. So yeah,
Okay.
not here.
Okay.
So,
Just to clarify, the property is already zoned highway
yes,
commercial.
that's what I was saying.
So you're suggesting that there might be some consideration on the future land use map to suggest something other than highway commercial. You're not suggesting actually rezoning it.
No, I'm not saying rezone it. I'm saying make sure that what is permitted in our commercial highway zone is what you actually want to see there.
But isn't that more of a code discussion?
Yeah, probably.
And to be clear, the storage units are that pink area as well.
They are,
Okay, the one that. the
Oh,
forbidden.
yeah, yeah, they are.
yes.
Okay.
It's not forbidden at all.
Transitional light industrialism.
You know, people go. "These
Wait, so
are
what's
forbidden, though."
the CO? I show it's what's zone CO?
No. If you're looking at CO, that's way old.
That's an old one.
Oh, this is.
That's an old
That
one.
was the top one that I looked at. No, I swear, see this one?
I just have a map, so I
This
can
one
see
again, it
exactly
keeps
what I'm
coming up
looking
the
at.
same one every time I click on different ones. Anyways,
Go through
move
the
on.
website.
Get your cookies.
Yeah.
Get your cookies. I'm fine with that one being there. I guess part of it is just, have we ever had anything? This might be that was
Yes.
presented to go there.
Like church, yeah, let's see, what else was proposed there?
The Cliffords wanted to do a ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
place, remember that?
Like a shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little ice cream.
The challenge with that property is going to be access because
Mhm.
the UDOT is not going to allow a driveway on South Weaver Drive.
And then you don't have that hillside going up is too steep. to
Well, it's
allow
not. I mean, with enough money,
You,
I'm
and
just saying,
protection.
an access road could be built into there, but it will eat up a bunch of the property. Or you put, big retaining walls on and you could build into there. So it can be done, but it's not going to come with a driveway off of South Weaver Drive. At least not likely unless they got an exception, but I don't see them granting that.
And my understanding is that those residential properties that are up at the top of View Drive, that their property line actually is that drop down to the bottom. Is that correct? Does anyone know?
I don't know exactly.
Down the
where it
hillside?
hits.
Okay. But they don't have that hillside, to my understanding. I could be wrong, but I don't.
Undeveloped ground doesn't?
The undeveloped ground kind of back behind the hillside, the bluff, yeah. I believe that belongs to all of the properties at the top of the.
They do
Yep.
the view,
They're not even using
the residential homes up on View,
This
they
one.
all go down almost to the base of to the toe of the slope.
Yeah.
Have a big
Like,
I would say
property.
roughly.
It's their massive. Yeah, okay. Anything else on number 6?
I don't know. Yeah. Like you said, what are we looking for just to make sure that that's what we want?
So, yeah, I guess, and I don't have an agenda here. I'm repeating kind of what we discussed. But it seems that the key issue on this parcel is it's zoned for commercial, it's designated as commercial. We want commercial. We want to keep that there as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Do we want to change it? Is that an amendment we need to keep on this list?
I say no, but
I don't think we want to change it.
Yeah, I don't think this needs to be on the list personally. Because, I mean, the fate of that piece of land, I don't think we are going to do a whole lot, even affecting the margins with how this property is going to be eventually developed.
we're looking at like all of these here.
Do you remember who brought that up when we had the joint meeting?
Joel, I know.
Okay.
I know, he's talked to me before about it.
Maybe
Like a
just,
fear of a hotel coming in there and blocking.
I mean, it is around residential, so that might be a concern, being across the street from the condos and houses that.
No,
I don't agree.
no. Like the access to that property.
I think the access is what's going to kill it.
Yeah.
You could never put anything on there.
Absolutely.
And
I
there's
mean-
no way UDOT would consider South Weaver Drive.
I mean, the best
That's what they're telling us.
Like, like the best land use for that, in my mind, although it may not be popular, is to find out if whatever storage unit company is there, wants to expand it.
Want a little background on that one?
I would absolutely like that. Yes.
Story time.
So, Brightlock purchased those. They've been working with us really good. They had two bright lights when they came in. They worked on it, got it down. They've been very responsive. They are getting pummeled by sand.
Is that what's happening?
That they can't keep customers. They're very, very, very frustrated. We can't do anything to help them.
Is it sand getting into their storage units?
That was the
I've rented one and it was completely full of sand, completely full.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess,
What do you do?
that property may change. You know, we think sometimes we look at properties and say, well, that's never gonna change. That
It
could
could.
change, give them an access point. At the right time, this could be it. So what's our long-term vision for
For
this
that.
corner? What do we wanna see there?
Maybe keep this one on here only in terms of, and I don't know, Brandon, if this is appropriate for you, like what are options? Viable options that could go in that area that match the commercial highway zone? Or is that not an
Well-
efficient use of your time?
I mean, I'm happy to do whatever. It doesn't, don't question what's viable use. It's fine. But I think when you're talking general plan level, you're really just thinking, well, do we want it to be commercial?
Yeah.
Or, some kind of institutional or residential? And if the residential, then
Maybe that's the
thinking higher
conversation.
density
like,
or not higher density?
It's commercial highway. Do we still want it to stay commercial highway? Or do we want to change?
Yeah.
That's
That's the only question. That's the only question.
That's the only real question
Right.
for the
You're just
general
looking at
plan.
the land use map.
Yeah,
Do you want to
Change
change
it.
something there?
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one. No, you're gonna have to suffer for a second. Go get a jacket.
Can I just interject right here, just to make sure you all are looking in the right places? If you go to the city's website, at the top, there is a drop down that says departments. When you go down to the very top one where it says business and planning,
Mhm.
then there's a link at the bottom that says maps. When you click on that, there's two sides. One says PDF maps and the other says interactive maps. And then on the interactive maps, it gives you a whole bunch of different things. That's where I would always go to look at everything because
Yep.
the interactive maps are always updated. The PDF maps are hopefully are also getting uploaded when they get changed, but you for sure know you're right if you're on the interactive maps. So just making sure you know where to go.
I go through the website.
Yeah.
Hey, are we ready to move on? Next one, number 7.
Well, what was the decision? I heard both.
We're gonna keep number 6 on there, but the question is more gonna be related to is commercial highway or highway commercial, the zone that we want to stay on the projected land use, which is the current land use, or do they want that changed to consider a more residential use or some other use? That could be option C. That's what that's focused on.
Okay.
Is that clear? Okay. Gravel pit, development timeline over 20 years, determine future uses via market and need analysis. I don't know why we have this one on here, only because at this point, there's been no change in activity other than gravel pits. And if they still have the right to develop, am I reading this over the next 20 years?
Oh, well, they're right to develop.
Like, are they at their end of use for the gravel pits? No,
Our understanding is that it's over, that they've got a long way to go.
Exactly.
And they're not in a hurry. They continue to use it. I mean, they're barely mining anything now, I think.
Uh-huh.
So it's just a demand thing and that's their business operation. I'll just say, I think that's their business operation. They're gonna hang on to it.
They're not gonna change
Way
it.
Down the road for the city.
I do too. And I don't think it's gonna hit in this iteration of a general plan update. And so to spend the time determining future uses via markets and analysis and studies, information's gonna change over the time frame that, the gravel pits continue to operate. And I'm not trying to be short-sighted. I just don't want to focus energy and time unnecessarily.
It's been 29 years and nothing has changed.
Well, I think the reason it's on here is because that is the top of the priority list for the citizens,
Mhm.
but it's not necessarily things we can change. I mean, we'll talk about it, but all we're talking about is now the use of it.
Yeah. So
Well, and in
I
terms
can-
of general
I can say-
plan,
I can give you maybe a little bit more insider information on that, because you guys have all articulated general observations as we drive by it every day. But I mean, in a past life, when I was a developer, I did talk to those guys
Mhm.
about possibly them either selling their property or gifting it. You know, Dak Jenkins was interested in, you know, what could this potentially turn into?
Mhm.
That pit is not the only property that they can operate out of.
Mhm.
There is also a pit on the other side of the freeway.
those are two separate companies though.
There, so as that is true, but they do have a wet mix plant that Staker Parsons does operate.
In the Geneva pit.
Yeah, on the other side, I'm not exactly sure where,
Mhm.
but so to say that nothing has happened, thus nothing will happen, I think is not a true reflection of the situation. I think that if given the right opportunity, Staker Parsons would be willing to play ball. And so with that, you know, potential appetite there, I think that we do have the capability of, you know, creating a general plan, you know, description of what we as a city envision that pit eventually being, which would then, you know, create an attractive environment for somebody to come in and say, this is what this pit could be. Let me go talk to Staker Parsons about possibly doing those things. And that's exactly what this general plan discussion is about.
Okay, don't laugh at me for saying this, but I was kind of chuckling to myself because I think maybe for the open house that we hold, we have a map of the gravel pits and kind of like, you know, the flannel boards that we used to have, and you have options, you have apartments, you have houses, you have golf courses, you have all the
Flannel
different
boards.
things.
That's cool.
Flannel
Back.
boards. I'm just saying, and then you could actually have citizens weigh in and say, do you like this? Do you see residential down here? Do you see commercial down here?
Beautiful.
Do you see, you're looking at me with like, what are you talking about kind of a thing? No, not you, Lance.
Both of your faces. You gotta hide.
Lance is like, what is
You gotta
she
hide
talking
it better.
This is my nice thing.
that's your like, stop talking.
Hey,
But-
Julie, to your point,
It's not a bad idea.
I've been part of open houses in previous areas that I've lived outside of Utah,
Yeah.
where a consulting company gave everybody the option to put different color Post-its.
To say what they wanted.
Yeah, and by just virtue of number
Visual.
of Post-its,
You could see
get
what
an
people were
idea.
interested in.
yeah.
And I think that's a big thing because everybody in the city is going to have an opinion about what they see the future. And yes, you're going to see a lake, even though people aren't listening when they say that you can't have a lake there. Anyways,
You
not
could.
going now. Sure, if you line it,
But
Yeah,
here's
your
the
soil's not
the
going to.
bigger discussion is though, are you gonna
Sorry.
wanna split this up into like residential and like split it up? Right now it's commercial, like,
Yeah.
is it, if you're like, well, I want residential, I want this, we're not gonna split it up.
Do you want it
Right now.
to become a master plan community? Do you want it to be like what down in Lehigh with the little pit? What's that place called?
Well, South Jordan has Daybreak.
Thanksgiving Point. Because they've got golf courses, they have hiking trails, they
That was
have,
built in a.
that was built in a gravel pit. And I don't know if most people realize that. Is that what you see the future of South Weaver's gravel pit looking like? For options. Telling you, Flannelboard, you guys are gonna come around to the idea.
But I just don't know if we wanna get into detail of what it could be at this point, like we're gonna separate half as residential.
Well, the reasoning being is because right now with what it's zoned, does our future land use align with what maybe most people are interested in? Or should we consider a different zoning?
I would love to get as much of the community's input on this as possible.
Why not?
I love that.
This is their chance to weigh in.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't know. Yeah. There's not much we can do though, like he's
As
saying.
long as it's 100 feet underground.
And even then, no.
So just to help me clarify, so I'm hearing like kind of two camps. One is let's have a big process and discuss this using flannel boards.
Post-it notes. Post-it.
Post-it notes.
And post notes.
I personally like the little stickers, but whatever.
Sticker.
And then the other end is, this is a lower priority because it's further out. We don't want to do it in this.
Well, I just don't know if there's much we can't, I don't want to have this huge meeting and there's really nothing we can do about it.
I agree.
You know, like I don't want to get,
I think,
It's two sides of the
it's
coin.
tough, right? Cause like,
I don't disagree with what he's saying. I just.
Is now the time to be
if
having that
somebody comes
conversation.
Forward, then let's start.
Let's,
rolling the
how about
ball
we
with
keep it on the list, but
Yeah.
we just, this one's, let's see how the first 3 or 4 amendments go.
I don't want to
and
get
then-
community. fault.
And then keep this one maybe towards the end.
Well, and if I could, just
Yeah.
one last comment about this. You know, something may not happen for 20 years. But, you know, creating a direction, I think is very useful. Like, and we may have to over communicate the fact that, you know, giving us your preferences doesn't mean this is all of a sudden magic wand going to appear. But what it does is it lets us know what the city wants done with their city.
Yeah.
And, you know, in eventuality, maybe it's 50 years from today, but, you know, I mean, it's a piece of land that could be developed in 6 ways to sunshine. And this is a general plan amendment.
How
And
many
this is-
acres is that? The gravel pits? Do we know the total acreage on that one?
And I think that to your point, you've made your point by saying nothing has happened up until this point. So we could say that part of the zoning that's there right now has restricted potential.
Should it change? Should it stay the same?
Yeah,
Cross hatching?
Right.
Does it have cross hatching on that one?
No, right now it's just all shown as commercial.
Is
On
it
the
commercial-
projected land
commercial
use.
highway?
Commercial highway.
Okay, I think you've summarized it. We're kind of 2 things, so maybe we just need to put a pin in this one for now and then leave it maybe at the end of the discussion to see if we want to pick it back up. It's not going anywhere. It's just,
this is just to decide whether it should be discussed or not.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've kind of started discussing it already.
Yeah.
So-
let's move on. Just, I don't want to have us be here all night. Entrance to the city is number 8. Talking about commercial use north of 2600. And I believe this is specifically the property that was once brought forth for like a gymnasium or something like that. The S curve uses, I'm not exactly sure what area that's referencing. So I don't know if we can maybe give a little more detail on that. And then obviously talking about 475 East and Old Fort Road. Oh, is the S curve into the, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, it's undeveloped land that's kind of across the street.
Surrounding the
Next to the apartments.
southwest and then on the other side of the street. Okay. And just what do we want that to look like? What do we see there? Do we like the zoning currently? Do we like the future land use zoning for those areas? And is that still what we're expecting to see? Is that kind of the intention with that item?
I think it is worth a discussion.
I do too.
It's just so you remember, that's actually property that the city owns.
Yes, on the
On the S
west
curve,
side of the street, correct?
west of the gravel pits, west of South Weaver Drive.
So on both
as it
sides of
curves.
South Weaver Drive, on that curve is all
Yeah, there-
city property.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit on the east side of South
Yeah.
Weaver Drive, but most of it is west.
Mostly on the west side.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of butts up to the that community, the kind of, what's the name of it?
Yeah, and that.
You're thinking of Cedar Cove?
Cedar Cove area.
Yeah,
Yep, thank you.
yeah, Cambridge Crossing is to the south.
That's the apartments.
Cedar Cove's a little bit to the west,
Mhm.
and then there's
Residential for
yeah,
residential.
residential to the Yeah, directly west.
There's a sidewalk in this.
There's a detention basin that's owned by UDOT that's on the east side of the road that's not developable, so.
Because it's our drainage
Right,
or
yeah,
UDOT's drainage for what?
the road,
Just the road?
South River Drive.
I didn't realize how much property the city does own right there that is.
Right now, it's just shown as, future land use shows it as commercial,
Commercial.
not commercial highway, just commercial.
This is all South.
Yeah. right there.
It's interesting.
And that was the part they were talking about.
This is a perfect example of where like, my map's not gonna come forward showing any changes here.
Yeah.
This would just be things that if you think it should be different, you would say.
Perfect. And I think this ties right into commercial uses east of Highway 89. Do we want to see any future industrial or commercial areas?
I think that was the mayor's bringing up area,
Yep.
this.
That was that red little zone, which that was the,
That's that zone across.
that's the zone. Isn't that the commercial uses north of 2600? Isn't that the same?
It's 28.
Is that 2600 right there? What's that?
That's 27, 25.
Oh, okay. They're not-
Yeah.
Are 8 and 9 the same?
The red.
Mhm.
And that's the last one, right? 9 is the last one on the list.
Yeah, it's not 2600. The road next to Maverick is 2700. So I'm not sure what the underlying.
Is that talking about that one
Map.
area between the car wash? And the
Yeah, when it
residential.
talks about that area, I think it's really south of, I don't know, south of the car wash.
South of the car
That
wash?
that area is undeveloped and has, had a variety of things proposed and nothing yet.
I think that was, so Commissioner Davis, that was where he was talking about the hotel,
Yes.
if I recall from the joint meeting, that he was talking about a hotel. And
Yeah.
obviously went on to talk about like the revenue and the things, tough, what is it that we get for a hotel? Tough.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
The reason I believe this one's on the list was Commissioner Davis was talking about a hotel.
Yeah.
And the revenue that gets generated and the tough fee. or
Well, I
whatever.
mean, they would have the utility fee,
The transportation.
transportation
or-
utility fee. I mean, they would pay that, but I think he was more talking like your transient,
That's what it is.
Yeah, you're
was
close.
it transient what?
Transient tax or transient.
Yeah, it's a
something.
tax.
It's a tax that you collect for everybody that stays
I can't remember what
in
it's
the
called.
hotel. That's
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah, if you've ever gone to a hotel, you'll see that line for that tax on there.
Okay.
That's. I
Which
think-
and ways, and this is where I kind of feel like he went off and just talking about like as a city, like with things coming down the pipeline, and I don't have the specifics, but just we've got to start looking at other revenue options and streams. And this was why this was at the entrance to our city where people see it. What do we want that to then look like? So I kind of feel like 8 and 9 could be combined, but maybe keep it separate.
No, that's the particular east bay.
Well, just the different areas.
Over that area, basically.
Yeah. It's our entrances. I
Yeah.
mean, that's where we've got developable land.
Could I summarize it that I've kind of listed this out just because we have, but like 8 and 9 are, do we want to change those areas? They kind of tie into the overall projected land use map discussion.
Mhm.
These areas maybe are a little special. Anyway, I'm thinking, put this lower on the list as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
To get into a more detailed discussion of it.
on the upper ones.
That's not a high priority for change.
I agree.
Is that correct?
I would
Yeah.
agree with that.
We're not changing anything, the entrance to the city to be residential. It's gonna be a commercial.
If there's that one we do, that reminder, that one we want to look at, the mayor brought up, kind of that weird area we were just looking at.
East or west?
It's
No,
kind of wrapped around
it's east of 89.
on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, that's the red one that you're pointing
Yeah.
at, Chris.
Yeah.
That it's just on the east side of 2800 East, undeveloped ground. There has been historically a gymnasium or gymnastics place proposed there that never actually went through. So
Wasn't it in 2020 why everything kind of fell apart on that one? Was just the
I think it's
timing of the
before
year? Was it before that?
Yeah, it's been a while ago. I don't know. It came around a
It's
few
before.
times, so I don't remember exactly.
That's just an area that we still want to do that or not.
Yeah, I think the mayor specifically asked about that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense. Random question that is not unfortunately on anything. Did we ever find out with the landscaping company that was operating further up that road towards Layton? I know they had some requirements. Maybe I can do this under the general discussion. I'm just wondering if they took care of everything that they needed since they're obviously operating a business out of a residential.
They're complying. I mean, they've cleaned it up a whole bunch. And,
Yeah. And anything with the trout farm? Okay. I thought there was something about cleaning up the trout farm. They're south, are they not annexed? Cause
Yeah.
they're in the green.
It's all
Yeah,
the way almost.
that's where the trout farm is.
But the trout farm.
The trout farm is out, but.
Oh, no.
That might be general discussion. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, that's more general discussion, not this topic, so I apologize.
I think we're good on that. I mean, unless, I don't know if there's a lot of directions on this. Sorry.
Well,
Okay,
can I
Brandon, step into the map.
Well, because I kind of made some notes. So I'm hearing that, I'm just going down the list. Number one is something that staff will take a stab at and make those changes. Number two is a higher priority to discuss annexation, come back with that one. Number three, the transportation connections is another large discussion, but it's a higher priority. Number four, which is the central core area, I would say that's like number four on, I'd say it's right in the middle of the list, but it needs to be better defined and look at options, and we can pursue that in time. Number five is also another one that staff's going to take a look at the sensitive lands map, see if there's any technical changes, any land changes or anything like that that should be updated, but generally it's probably going to stay, and it'll just be a staff recommendation and you guys review. Number six is the highway or 2100 commercial uses. Stay for now. I think the discussion is what's the long-term vision for this area and what's viable. But I think it's like number 3, 4 on the list as well.
Yeah.
So, and then the gravel pit's lower on the list as well.
I think it's 3,
7, 8,
3,
9
and
are
3.
are all,
Or
yeah, kind of 3, 3, and 3.
kind of. For the first 6.
Okay,
No, that's right.
so
Okay, any other comments on any of these? Anything else? I think that was a good summary.
Okay.
Okay, final items are just reports, anything from the commission?
Like
Any items you want to bring up?
one thing I didn't want to bring up here, but it brings up a good point on the 475 entrance to the city. I know I just want to spend money. That's just my thing. But like, can you do like a signage or like make it look more presentable? You know, like if people say like, welcome to South Weber City, and there's like a rock, you know, or something like that. We have it on Maverick side, kind of. That's a digital sign. We don't need that. But is there something, is that something we want to do or no?
I want like what Ogden has.
No recommend. I'm just asking, like, is that something that we like want to look down to, or is it not really? I don't know. Like, that's discussion.
Do you want to research options for
Yeah,
signage?
because when this brought up when it said entrance to city, that's the only reason I thought of that. And then it's like, oh, do we want to make the entrance more presentable?
it's a good discussion.
I want one of those Ogden signs, but it's gonna say South Weaver. And then destination, not a drive-through.
Side note, I think they should keep the flag up on the general RV. I like that a lot. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Did they put it? I didn't.
A big,
For the
huge
4th of
flag on a
July?
big sign. Yes. That was really cool.
And the fact that it says General RV South Weaver,
That's pretty cool.
you know, they already gave us an entry sign.
Isn't there a monument that was supposed to have been put in over on that property that was like one of our landmarks?
It's
But
still
that-
there.
It's there,
It's
right?
there, yeah.
But is there anything that's like, could be built off of that to maybe be like, welcome to South Weaver?
I'll look into it.
Look into it. Chris is gonna do some research.
I want to spend more money on parks and monuments.
Work on the budget first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. I'll put one of those,
We'll do a GoFundMe.
I'll put one of those
Yeah,
voting
we'll
signs
do a
that says
GoFundMe.
welcome to South Weaver. Just
It'll be fine.
Okay,
We might
so
get some people to
really
do
quick, what is the next step? As we look at this line item, this step-by-step process that you wrote out for us, we're kind of in a nebulous, I guess, where choose your own adventure here between line items 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, no.
I think we're still in 2.
Yeah,
We're still very much in 2.
We're on number 2, definitely.
We haven't moved
We need
into
to-
anywhere else.
Staff's gonna put together a draft for you guys to respond to.
So we'll have another one of
And
these meetings.
that draft
Yeah.
will go to the public for them to respond to.
Okay.
So
Will
it's
this
really
be next month?
Right between 2 and 3, and we'll go over them next month, if that's
Next month.
okay.
Is anybody planning on not being here for that meeting? I'm just saying,
For August?
for August.
Okay.
Hey, it's still summer, you know, I gotta check in with vacation plans.
Yeah, yeah.
I will be here. Okay. Then if there is nothing further from anyone, I'm gonna ask for a motion to adjourn. Do I need a motion? Yes, I do need a motion to
Make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
And a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Have a good night.
The tax